Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I do appreciate it. So today we're going to be doing a 401k check-in update. I haven't done this video in a few months, and so as always, when I do these videos, go get your statements, any type of employer-sponsored account. So even if it's not a 401k, if it's a 457, it's a 403b, whatever it is, go get your statements so that we can go over them together. It's so important to understand that, you have to make sure you understand what your money is doing. It doesn't need to be complicated, and your statements is a really great starting point for this. And so we're going to go over, well, hours later in this video. So make sure you stay tuned. As always, I'm not a financial advisor or a fiduciary. I am in the market like you. I am a regular investor. I'm not a guru. I show real numbers so that you can see that if you're consistent and give it time, right? Because investing is long term, that it does work. It does grow. Okay. And always, please make sure you watch out for spammers, scammers, fake pages, WhatsApp, bots. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is, and always confirm via my email, mommytradertube@gmail.com. So I have this great article here from CNBC Make It talking about how much money Americans have in their 401ks in their 30s. And this article also shares the other age groups as well. But however, I am in my last year of my 30s. I am 39. Lord willing, I will be 40 in September. So again, time goes by so fast. I remember when I turned 30. You may think, oh my goodness, I have my whole life ahead of me. And you do, but remember, time waits for no one. So you want to make sure that while you're having fun, while you're living life, that you are being responsible with your finances, because if you plan on being alive in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s, it's not free. And in some cases, it's not cheap. So you want to make sure that you have your money in order so that you don't have to stress or worry about that in the future. Remember, you want to be like the ant. You want to be wise. So if we come down in this article, and I'll have it linked below, we're going to talk about how Americans in their 30s, because that's in your 30s is when you really get like your first real job, right? Well, for me anyway, like when you in your 20s, you're kind of in college, and then you get your first job, and you're kind of trying to navigate the whole corporate world, or the whole, like 9 to 5 world. But in your 30s, you're really kind of, starting to see the money come in, or traditionally, right? And so, starting in your 30s is where you really can kind of start to invest, more strategically, a little bit more heavier than, let's say, in your 20s. Though definitely the earlier you start, the better. I cannot stress that enough. If you're 21, 25, invest something. If you have children and they are in their 20s or even in their teens, tell them, pour into them, teach them the importance of investing early and often, okay? But I like how this article says that on average, Americans believe that they need 1.3 million to retire comfortably. And this is according to the Northwestern Mutual 2023 Planning and Progress Study. Now, you tell me, just some general thoughts. How much do you think you need to retire? And the reason why I like 401ks is because it's the best account. It's the easiest account for anybody who is working to get started with investing. It is the easiest account. Again, even if it's not a 401k, any type of employer sponsored account. So that means when you start your job, you should get information about this in your package, like your benefits and incentive packages. But if you don't, go down to HR or your admin department, and they will be able to give you more information about the employer sponsored account. Now, if your job does not offer an employer sponsored account, I would definitely suggest, again, not financial advice, but definitely open up a Roth IRA. Because I know that some of you will tell me, hey, Shalise, my company doesn't have a 401k or any type of employer account. So in that case, definitely start with the Roth IRA, because something is better than nothing. However, if you come to this blurb right here, it says that, however, the amount Americans have in their 30s is much lower, right? So in your 30s, the median 401k balance for those of us in our 30s is around $20,400, which is not like a whole lot. And keep in mind, this is just several factors, and the article talks about this. With you, when you have rising living costs, like, I mean, come on, how many of us have children, families? rent, mortgages, utilities, property taxes, food, even like the fun things. If you're going to get pizza or coffee, take a vacation, it's much more expensive than it was, let's say, before the pandemic. So, of course, people are not going to have as much money to invest. However, I always suggest something is better than nothing. So, if you cannot get $1 million, and I don't believe you need $1 million to retire. I think if you can lower your expenses, you can stay out of debt, you can pay off your home. I believe you can make under $1 million work, but again, you know your specific situation. You know your expenses, you know debts, you know your savings and your investing. So that's why I have actually a retirement tracking worksheet. I'll put a screenshot up of it on the screen so that you can see it. It's up on my website, but I created this so that you can have a starting point of where you are. Some people don't even know their credit score. Some people don't even know how much debt that they have. So this tracker gives you a great starting point so that you can have some type of game plan in terms of why you need to save for retirement, because you know what you're shooting for. Do you need 500,000? Do you need $1 million? Do you need 10 million? I mean, only you would know that, and you won't know unless you know where to start. Okay. So yeah. And here's the thing right here. You see the 401k balances by age bracket. So this is by age. So in your 20s, the average income, and this is like across the board, not really factoring anything else, just average, is $16,100 in your 20s. The median is more realistic because that's factoring in where people live and family dynamic and things like that. It's lower. So it's about $6,100. So if you're more on the median side, you are doing pretty good. You're falling in, the normal range. Average is kind of, is not taking into account any of those things. If you're in your 30s like I am, or at the end of your 30s like I am, you can see kind of where you fall in at. Now, remember, this is not the end all be all. Do not put your self worth into how much money you have invested, but rather we're trying to think of this strategically so that we can get to our goals. Okay. That means even if you have to get therapy because there's some financial trauma in your past, that's going to help you heal so that you can move forward and be a success with, your investment and finance and budgeting goals. In your 30s, like I mentioned, the average is 51,700, but the median is 20,400. In your 40s, the average is $115,800, but the median is $38,600. So again, if you are doing more, if you are farther ahead than the median, then you're doing pretty good. If you're under the median, then you know what, I'm going to take some extra monies that I may have. I'm going to increase my 401k contributions by 1%. I tell people often, on your birthday, increase your 401k contribution or employer sponsored account by 1% as a gift to your future self. Okay. And trust me, you won't miss the money. And 401ks has a lot of tax advantages. So again, it lowers how much you get taxed, which is great. And it's deferred to when your retirement. And the great thing about that is that in your retirement, your taxable income is usually lower anyway. So you're paying a lower tax anyway. Okay. And then in your 50s, the average is 199,500 and the median is $60,900. So it's not too late. You can get started. You have plenty of time. Even if you're in your 40s or 50s, I mean, Social Security, you can start collecting it at like 60 years old or something like that. So if you're 45, that's 15 years you still have. If you're 50, that's 10 years. You can do a lot in a decade. Okay. So again, you want to just get started. You want to stay focused. You want to stay motivated. And I'm telling you, you can do this. So let me bring up our 401k statement. So this is the 401k through Fidelity. Okay, so this is a quarterly statement. I think most of us get quarterly statements. I don't think we get monthly statements. I don't think so, but quarterly, I believe, is what we get. So you can see this is from January 1st of this year through March 31st of this year. So a whole quarter is 3 months. So Q1. So you can see the beginning balance at the beginning of January was $280,789.13. So you can see our contributions here and then the employer. So you see how the employer contributions is almost as much as ours. So if you get a match, the match is the secret sauce to any type of employer sponsored account. If you get a match, at least contribute up to the match. Now with our 401k, because my husband gets a big bonus in May, what we do the first half of the year is really set our 401k contributions to about 7%, I believe. And the reason why we do that is because his bonus gets allocated to his 401k as well. So in the past, we've done this several years ago, which was not good. We would set our 401k contributions to max it out, right? But when the bonuses hit, and because a part of the bonus is going to 401k, what happened is we wound up putting too much money in the 401k. And of course, if you do that, the IRS does not like that and you get penalized for that. So our tax person told us you need to just set the first half of the year, set your 401k to about 5 to 7% so you can get the full match. And then after the bonus hits, you go into the system and adjust it to max it out. And I don't think a lot of people realize you can go into the system and adjust your 401k contributions, whether you want to put more in or you need to scale it back a little bit or pause it. You can actually go into the system and do this. I don't know if many of you knew this. And so ours is with Fidelity. So probably starting in June, you will see our contributions go up a lot more because the bonus will hit, and then we would know more specifically, like, okay, how much do we have left to put in for this calendar year? Because again, we've done it in the past. Like I said, we've put too much in and then you had to take it out or you get penalized. And so that's just what we do. I know several of you do the same thing because I know several of you get your bonuses in January and a part of your bonus going to the 401k. So you have to adjust your contribution settings. So yeah. So fees, let's talk about fees. So many of you don't realize that your 401ks are managed by a fund manager, right? And so it's not free. So one of the things you don't want to do, however, is pay an exorbitant amount of fees. See, I think this is pretty reasonable. $191.54 out of a $280,000 or $300,000 account is actually pretty reasonable. So make sure, I'm giving you some homework. I want you to tell me, well, you can email me or leave it in a comment. How much did you pay in fees in Q1 in your 401k? Because this is important. You want to know how much you're paying in fees, because if you're paying thousands of dollars in fees in one quarter, you may want to kind of go talk to your admin person because that's a lot. And fees do add up. So again, you want to pay as little in fees as possible. And then the change in market value. So how much did this account grow? Okay. So you can see again from 280,000, when you add in even our contributions and employer contributions, it still grew up to $306,195.34. And that's even with the market regressions and downturns and all of that. Just again, dollar cost average. I don't know what's going on a lot of times because if I'm busy in my real life, I have children, I have a husband, I have things going on, but I still just dollar cost average every paycheck, right? Just every paycheck. I don't care what the market is doing. Every paycheck, money goes in. And over time, long term, you always are, your money is always growing. You're always making more. So again, you can see again, it still grew in one quarter, almost $20,000. I mean, where can I get that type of return anywhere else? So again, guys, you can see our personal rate of return for Q1 is 6.9%. And again, even with downturns, right? I'm not mad at that. We're going to continue to invest. And remember, you can get dividends in your 401k. We don't have any dividends this quarter because usually the retirement accounts pay out once or twice a year. So none this quarter, maybe next quarter. I'm not sure. You have to stay tuned. But again, this is, again, the 401k update. Let me know how you are doing. I wanted to share with this man right here, Ted Banna, is the father of the 401k. He's the one who really made it popular. He's the one who kind of got a lot of people on board, and pensions are dying off. I know some of you still have pensions, but this is the guy who, if you want to think, the founder, the father of the 401k, he didn't actually found it, but he is the father of it. He's the one that kind of made it popular. So again, guys, I just wanted to bring that up. Again, these articles will be down below so that you can go and do some more reading on your own. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you smash the notification button so that you don't miss an upload every time I post a video. And until next time, you already know, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.